We finally got an update to Logic, version 12, and it's packed with new features. In this video, I am exploring one of those new additions, which is known as the Chord Identifier, which promises that by just clicking a few buttons, we will be able to detect the chord progression of any given audio or MIDI track easily, fast, and the best part, it will work beautifully with the built-in virtual performers, the piano, drummer, and of course the bass player. What you're about to see is an excerpt from a live stream in which I am producing a track from start to finish using the new features found in Logic Pro 12. With that being said, let's get into it. Let's go through some of the obvious or newest additions, which is of course the chord identification software or feature that comes with Logic. How to access it? Easy. First and foremost, we gotta click on our keyboard and press the letter G, bam, and it's gonna bring the global features. And in here, as you can tell, I don't have anything. The arrangement, marker, signature, and tempo are the only ones available to me, but there is no chord or anything related to the chord situation we're gonna be working with. So how to bring it in? Right click, and then we're gonna look for chord. Bam! And it appeared all the way to the top. I'm gonna drop it underneath tempo because it relies on you dropping stuff from the arrangement window onto the chord section over here on our global area. Okay, so now with that being said, how are we gonna be exploring this feature? Good question. I'm glad you didn't ask. I'm gonna be actually recording some guitar going through or going into Logic to test if it's actually working or not. And let's do it. I already have here my guitar. When I'm rocking my beloved CRE guitar, my Ascender. This bad boy has been around with me for almost 3 years now. And I got it as my traveling guitar, because I happen to be quite active as a session musician, moving around, right? And it has this particular feature. What the hell is that? More on that later, but simply speaking, this thing folds and becomes super tiny. I'm gonna make a video on my thoughts on it, but if well, you're seeing me right now using it, right? I love it. It's fantastic. So I already got it hooked up, and I'm gonna be actually using my Tonex based mini board over here. This is the rig that I developed for studio use. It has plenty of sounds, and it sounds amazing. You'll see. First, we gotta be able to hear the guitar, right? So let's get Logic, and in here I'm gonna create a new track, audio track, of course, thank you very much. And I'm gonna select the inputs. In this case, it's gonna be input 3 and 4 because the system is actually a stereo rig. So if everything goes according to the plan, and if I turn on the input monitoring over here, we should be able to hear the guitar. Yeah, it's going beautifully, right? I am rocking this particular sound that I developed on Tonex, which will be available for you to download, in which I am actually using some of my preamps here in the studio in an attempt to create this kind of super clean 80s sound that I love. Now we got everything going. I'm gonna record something so we can use as a reference point. Now let's see the tempo. Okay, so the way I like to find my tempo is by just making a loop on on a particular cycle, and I'm gonna turn on the click by pressing K, and let's see. Okay, like it. So let's do it. I'm gonna begin recording there, and my pre-recording is set to 1 bar. So that means that before the recording begins, the playhead is gonna move back 1 bar. And you can fix it, or you can change it over here. This has been around since forever. Right click, and you'll see that you got plenty of options, okay? So I'm gonna keep it as 1 bar. So let's do it. Okay, that should be enough. So let's make sure that it's the full bar. sometimes I like to just cut it, okay? So, this is the moment of truth. I'm gonna drag this region that I just recorded, and if everything goes according to the plan, we should get the chords. I'm gonna drop it here. Okay, it seems that it did it correctly, and even the tempo is very good. During my learning my way around the software or this particular version and this particular feature, I realized that at times the chords or the notes are properly presented, are correctly detected, but tempo-wise they are kind of sometimes a little bit iffy. But we can see that all of the changes are taking place at the very point or at the very starting point of the corresponding bar. Nice, it worked. Now, let's see if it actually makes sense. So, let's add a bass player. Here is bass player retro rock. Yeah, let's see what we get out of it. Bada bing, bada bam. Oh, a stupid mistake. It dropped it right at the point in which the playhead was. So I'm gonna drag it, and that's gonna be a very, okay, it changed the notes. And look, first Bach. We can see that it got the chord correctly. Even in here we got it, but it didn't detect it at the very starting point. That's why we don't have any form of notes on the bass over here. So first, let's check if it's working. I'm gonna make a cycle out of my region, and let's see. Okay, that wasn't bad. Now let's fix this guy. Since we got no chord here, we can double click and it will give us this contextual menu. In here we're gonna select the notes the same way as we used to do back in Logic 11. Since according to the software, and let's put it to the test, it's giving us an F sharp minor 7. So let's double click over here and look for F. And see how fun it is. It here says that it's undefined, but it actually found the root of the note to be F sharp. So I'm gonna select F sharp, minor, 7. And according to theory, yes, it's working, and I'm quite impressed. Now, let's add another section, something a little bit akin to a, I don't know, like a verse. Okay, that was a tiny mistake there, but I'll fix it. The idea right now is to check how good the chord detector works. So I'm gonna put it here, just right at the very, right next to the section we previously recorded. This is how I like to produce music, by the way, especially when working with something more rock oriented. Since I'm coming up with ideas, I like to track them down, make them or lay them down, so that way I don't have to remember them later on. In mind that I'm creating some form of a scrapbook of some sorts of ideas, of musical ideas, inspired by the same concept. And then I'm gonna be using the arrangement section on Logic to move stuff around and start to develop a track. So, coming back to Logic, let's drop it on the chord identifier or analyzer. Okay, same issue as before, and the thing is that it couldn't detect the first one. So let's see, maybe because of my playing. Let's see how it was. Okay. I'm gonna add now the bass player. Let's see if it detected correctly the rest. Nice, it worked. Now let's make sure that the timing is set right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, because my performance was quite sloppy. So I'm gonna redo it. Let's re-record the same section. I'm gonna even leave the bass just to give me some vibe. Here we go. Now let's see if it gets it better. Still no chord, the first one. Let's see why. I'm gonna record just that particular chord as a chord. Okay, let's see. So according to Logic, it's a B minor 7. So let's see. Double click. So first, let's find our key, B minor 7. I don't know. Correctly. I'm impressed. Now, you can see that I'm starting to develop some form of workflow with this, because it seems that this chord been so good. It's one of those difficult chords to detect just by ear, due to it's difficult to detect the root. So probably that's why. But just so that as soon as I just play the chord itself, Logic could detect just that particular sample. So I'm gonna go back to my DAW, and let's see. I'm gonna remove the chord that I just recorded. There is no need for it, and also I'm gonna remove this chord marker. Now, let's see. Let's add a variation to this particular region. So let's see. I'm gonna keep this guy as well, and let's see. Let's pretend that this is kind of like a second section of our chorus. And look, this time around, it got it. It got it correctly. B minor 7 at the very beginning. Maybe it's learning. I don't know. It could be.